Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Leo. How will Leo be affected by the October 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels, oh goodness, and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. If we have Gemini within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. And we have the Moon. So this Moon is actually really going to affect our love, the way that we're expressing ourselves emotionally during this time. We're going to find that this Moon affects our emotions more deeply than other moons do. So that's going to be something to really be mindful of. The Moon is also Pisces energy. And so if we have that within our natal chart, Pisces, we're going to find that it comes out very powerfully during this time. Gemini and Pisces, very strong here. The Two of Earth, the Two of Pentacles. The Messenger of Water. Now this is the Page of Water, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, amplifying the Moon in Pisces, right? The Moon here, Pisces, that is coming through. And also the sense of our emotions guiding us in a way that we aren't expecting it to. So do be mindful of that during this time. We have the Hangman. We are seeing things differently than we were before. We have the King of Wands. Now this is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So this is us coming through as a king, as a person who is transforming. This is also the fact that this full moon is in Aries is going to hit us rather hard. And we also have it aligned with Mars. Aries is ruled by Mars. And so here we're going to have that intensity guiding us forward. The Four of Swords is telling us we need to rest. We need to take care of ourselves. We also need to pay homage to everything that we have been through instead of, okay, so it's very interesting. So for some of us, Leos, we're going to think like it has been so unfair. And it's almost going to have left us in a bit of a depression, a bit of a, like, I can't believe this happened to me. And it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to move forward towards our goals. So if that's the case for us, we're going to have to, pay homage to everything that we've been through and maybe talk to a spiritual advisor, somebody who can help us and hold space for us to be able to see the tragedy that has led us to this despair and be able to help us work through that. For those of us who have just been like, okay, I just need to push forward. I don't have time for this nonsense. I can't look at the past because it's done, it's over with. I'm only concerned about the present. We have to put on the brakes a little bit. So we're going to have these two extreme energies here with those of us who are just like pushing forward. It's saying, step back, put on the brakes, pay homage to what you have been through. Again, a spiritual advisor during this time, a person who can help us hold space for ourselves, which sounds so silly to say, but is so powerful. This sense of, I'm showing up for you, I'm showing up with you, I'm here with you, and you're not alone. That changes the game. So that's going to be really important. Now, this could also be a friend, a family member, just somebody who is able to help us connect. That's going to be a game changer. Then we have the public arena self. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so, and it was kind of spinning around like this. So we're going to always be on the move. It's going to be much easier for us, Leo, as fire sign energy, right? It's going to be much easier for us during this time to just be on the move, to be going, to be defending. We're also going to be really quick to get into arguments during this time. So just being mindful of that is going to be really important because, again, Mars is coming through very, very strongly, that fire sign energy with Aries and also that fire sign energy with us. So we're going to have to be very mindful of that. The King of Pentacles, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, prosperity, success, bounty, if we can keep our feet firmly planted on the ground. Let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. The Hermit. This is Virgo energy, okay? And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So there's a sense of us talking to ourselves a lot here, a sense of us thinking, you know what, I can just work it out myself. I can just figure it all out myself. This is not the time to be a superhero. This is the time to say, help if I need help, to connect, to understand. We're going to find that we can be very isolated during this time. And we have to look at that isolation and say, no, no, I'm not turning so deeply into myself that I'm turning away from all my blessings. We're also going to find ourselves very drawn to people who seem to be mystics. And I'm putting like quotes around this because they're just going to be very isolated people who might have found the way that's right for them. But there's going to be this almost dogmatic rigidity to them. That's it. Rigidity to them that says, this is the way it has to be. And if you can't do it this way, then you're absolutely wrong. We're going to have to be mindful of that because we're going to be very susceptible to that energy and to that sense. Now, it doesn't have to be that this person was or is a mystic. It can be that this person is just going to be very much in their own world or kind of have shut themselves off from other people. And it's going to be the sense of it's my way or it's no way. So just be mindful about that. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. This is balance. Now, this is the root chakra. We need to embrace balance for ourselves, a sense of harmony for the grounding of who it is that we are, the coming in of the masculine and the feminine energy, and the honoring of ourselves. If we don't do that, we're going to feel out of sorts. And if we don't do that, we're going to feel as if we can't get to the place that we want to be. So before we dive into everything that the cards are saying and then see what the moon has to say for herself, let's talk about the astrological alignment during this time. On the 20th of October, the full moon is in Aries. This full moon brings home and family and close relationships into focus for the next 2 weeks, and it can be longer than that for those of us who are moon sensitive. Opposite energies come into play, and we're going to have a tendency to focus on them, but also to obsess about it. We're going to feel out of balance, and if we feel out of balance, we're going to think, I have to fix that right away. I can't have anything be out of balance. Balance is going to be so important to us. We're going to say, like, I need to have everything in alignment, or I need to have everything in harmony. There's going to be words that we use that if we kind of looked at them and kind of boiled them down, it is all around balance, and that's going to be very important to us. And so here, when we want to fix everything right away, we're going to find that we fix nothing because conflict is going to build and it takes over our whole entire lives, and there needs to be an acknowledgement that this energy is draining us. So we're not going to be able to heal it right away. We have to acknowledge it, we have to understand it, we have to find its root source. That's why embracing the spiritual and looking at its connection to our hearts is going to be really important to us. And we're going to start to see things emotionally in a very different way. And we're going to have to hold space for that. This moon is very sacred in many cultures because it coincides with the hunting season. That's why it's called the hunting moon, the blood moon. And the preparation for winter, especially, well, in the northern hemisphere, because in the southern hemisphere, it's summer. And in the southern hemisphere, it's the preparation for the lush months, for the hotter, more intense weather coming forward. So we're both preparing for intensity here. The full moon in Aries is opposite Mars, which is the god of war, and Pluto, which is the god of death. Now, don't decide anything too quickly during this time. We're going to have to understand that impulsiveness is where we're going to be. We're going to want to decide things yesterday. We're going to sit there and be yelling at ourselves, why is it taking me so long? But to step back and not be impulsive, because if we are impulsive, we will regret it. And we will have a tendency to just hair fire, trigger, react to things. So we have to be acknowledging of that. We have to be aware of that and then step into ourselves during this time. The full moon is opposite Mars, which gives us the strong need to have our desires fulfilled. We want what we want when we want it. Unfortunately, because it is a planetary alignment, everybody wants the same exact thing. And everybody's going to be a little bit combative in order to get it. We're going to see an increase in moodiness, impulsiveness, and anger in ourselves and in others. We are going to be passion driven. We want to be passionate about everything. We can find ourselves obsessing about relationships. Oh my gosh, it's not passionate enough. Work. Oh my gosh, it's not passionate enough. School. Oh my gosh, it's not passionate enough. We're going to say that to ourselves. We want everything to be like a Hollywood movie, to be these great big scenes. That's exhausting. Calm down. We need to calm down this energy. The more emotional we get, and we're going to tend to be more emotional than rational during this time, the more we're going to seek out these big highs of drama. So again, pop in a movie, sit back, read a book, but let the drama unfold on a screen or in a book and not in our lives, because it's just going to drain us. For the best results during this moon, we have to acknowledge the negative, but also embrace a high energy vibration. Understand that anger is going to come in. Anger can be a driving force. It can be like, you know what? I'm so angry that I let this rule my life, that I let myself doubt myself. Now I'm changing the game. Now I'm embracing my passion, my desire, my truth, my energy, and I'm moving towards what I need. So we're going to see that anger could be a really good thing, but we can also find that if we don't come with a high energy vibration, it can be a thing that takes over our whole entire life, and it becomes an I'll show you type of mentality. This moon finds us acting towards our greater good. If we, again, have that high energy vibration, we start to see what we really want, what we really need, and we start to move forward in passion. The full moon squared Pluto deeply. Okay, we're going to find here it deeply affects us because it brings up buried issues, okay? Toxic, buried issues that are highly emotional for us and that we don't want to face. But if we don't face them, they become debilitating. And this is going to be a time where we start to see it. And this is in the heart. It's saying, dive deeper into it, see it, understand it, feel it, and let it come out, because it's like taking away that toxicity. Yeah. Because if we do this, it becomes very cathartic for us. It becomes astoundingly healing. Mars squared Pluto brings a strong drive towards success, but can also increase our desire to win at any cost. And Leo, are we good at focusing on winning? This can lead us to being controlling. It can lead us to being ruthless. It can lead us to being jealous and underhanded. All the things that a negative Leo can really excel at. We want to avoid this like the plague. I mean, seriously, we want to say, no, thank you. I don't want it in my life. I can't have it right now, because as we move towards winning, and if we kind of put everything up as a game, as a me versus them type of thing, we're going to find that it brings out the worst in us. So this is something we're going to have to be very mindful of during this time. People's egos play a huge part in this time frame for us, in this full moon. And so what we have to understand here is that our egos are going to come into play. A lot of people's egos are going to come into play. We can't just, break down their ideas and move forward with our own. That's going to be what we want to do. We want to be able to, see it, understand it, move forward in our passion, in our desire. But what we have to do is kind of step back and say, okay, I'm not being drawn into anybody's drama. I'm not doing this. Again, drama stays on the big screen, not in our lives. And I need to keep focused on the facts, what I want, my goals, and what I desire. The full moon in Aries is also closely aligned to the fixed star, Alphurg. So Alphurg, also known as Eta Pisceum, there we go. This star is of the nature of Saturn and Jupiter. And it makes us prepared, it makes us determined, and it makes us successful. This star also rules the pineal gland and influences our spirituality, because the pineal gland is highly connected to how spiritual we are and our spiritual connections. Nothing that happens with a Saturn Jupiter, there we go, Jupiter conjunction is on a small scale at all. It's all intense, it's all larger than life, it's all profoundly powerful. Alfred is also the star of mysteries. It's the star that aligns us with a powerful understanding of the esoteric, of the spiritual, of the religious. And we're going to find that we're very drawn to the spiritual, to the religious, to the sense of love and compassion and caring, the sense of connection through a spiritual or through a religious tie. That's going to be very important to us. If we come to this with a low energy vibration, we're going to find ourselves very drawn to the unsavory aspects of religion and spirituality, the unsavory aspects of kind of a them versus us mentality. So do be mindful of that. We start off with love. We're embracing here love, passion, insights, ideas. We come from the heart, and we need to embrace our heart. Our heart is astoundingly powerful. We have to make sure during this time, Leo, that we are not just seeing what we want to see. We are seeing what's truly there. We are embracing the intensity. We are embracing the honor of emotion. We are looking at things and not being drawn into a trap. Here, she is a beautiful woman. Underneath, she is a skeleton with a skull. She's going to drown him. Why? Because they're both fulfilling a saga for the other person. This is going to be a time where we cannot be fulfilling a saga for another, and we cannot be having another person play out a saga in our own lives. We are going to be needing to be in control of the drama. We're going to need to be in control of what we love, of what we desire, and what we need. What comes out from the heart during this time is going to be something we need to connect with emotionally, that we need to connect with spiritually, and that we need to open up to. Nobody else is going to be able to connect with our heart if we ourselves do not see it first. This is going to be saying, what do I love? Not who do I love, not what is love all about, but what do I love? What brings me passion? What brings me joy? What brings me beauty? And we have to look at, is it about the conquering? Is it about the lust aspect of life? Is it about the desire to achieve more or to obtain more? Or is it a sense of, I'm starting to see harmony, and I'm starting to embrace harmony, insight, ideas, and love for my life and love for myself. It moves us to this moon. This moon has us look at the complicated aspect of love. What is our heart? What do we desire? What is love to us? It can even be something that we're really starting to question. We can even find that things that we thought were like set in stone, like, okay, this is the person that I love, or this is what I will always love, or it's kind of like I will always like this ice cream and I'll never not like it, and then we don't like it anymore. That's going to be the type of thing. Ice cream is a weird example that Spirit is giving, but it's going to be this type of thing where it's like, it's never not going to be my favorite, and yet now it is. And so during this time, what we're being told to look at is, why do we love something? What memories does it invoke? How does it connect with our heart? And how do we move forward? Because the moon here is going to bring up a lot of fears around love, around being alone, around the connection of the heart and what we desire, around, are people seeing me in the right way? Meaning that, not that I have to care about what people are seeing, but am I connecting to them? Like, am I being me in front of them, or am I being the me I think they want me to be? And am I just a little bit different for each person? The moon here brings out a lot of our fears, a lot of our doubts, a lot of the things that we keep in the shadows, that we keep held back and denied from ourselves. And we're going to see it come to the forefront. Again, this really does align us with the full moon in squared Pluto, with this deep sense of connection to what needs to be purged from us, from the toxicity that needs to be released. But it also comes with a sense of this moon illuminates in a very soft, very gentle way what we need to see and what we find a bit hard to look at. It moves us here to the Two of Earth. This is prosperity, success, bounty, right? We're talking about a balancing of wealth, but we're also talking about here a nurturing, a give and take relationship. The mama bear and the baby bear are connected, and we love that connection. We want to keep that connection, and we want that connection to grow within us. This is going to be a time where our hearts are so important to us, but we also have to realize, what is it that is knocking us out of balance? What is it that is corrupting what we desire, what we hold sacred to ourselves? And what is it that we are taking on too much of, and understanding and kind of calling that out? It moves us to the messenger of water. It moves us to the sense of, I need to move forward in my emotions, and I'm starting to adapt to be able to dive deeper into my emotions, to be getting messages. And we're going to find that we are getting messages from spirit emotionally, from spirit in a sense of, I'm opening my heart, I'm diving into my soul. Here she has webbing on her fingers, so she's learning how, or she's learned how to adapt to the water that is a part of her. We're going to be learning how, and we're going to be embracing how to adapt to the emotions that are a part of our soul, a part of ourselves, and a part of what we desire. This is going to be a time where our heart is so important to us. This is also going to be a time where we are given messages. We're given messages in this way that just seems like completely out of sorts, like completely just crazy to us. We're going to be thinking about something or doing something. I don't know why ice cream keeps on coming up at this time. And it's kind of like, it's really cold outside and we've decided to get ice cream. And we're thinking, this is crazy. But we also think that, wow, I used to do this with my grandma when I was really little, or, something to that effect. And this is going to be a time where that kind of like opens up a door to us, or my mom, or whomever it is that we had a really close relationship to, but this person could have passed, or this person could be, a distance from us, and then we're being told, okay, contact this person, let them know that you're thinking about them, let them know that you're, if they are still living, but even if they aren't, just open up our hearts to a little bit of a conversation with them and see the wisdom that they have that guides us forward. There's going to be something like that here that comes in, and it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't expect this, like I didn't realize this. And it doesn't have to be around ice cream. I don't know why that's coming forward, but it's going to be around something fun. It's going to be around something that you really, really like. I do like ice cream, but not as much as it's showing here. It's like just something that is just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. Like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting type of energy. We then have the hangman coming through. And the hangman is saying we're starting to see things differently. We're starting to see our connection to the spiritual world differently. We're starting to see our connection here on the earthly plane differently. We're starting to see what's really important to us and what isn't really important to us. And we're starting to really move ourselves forward in that direction, in that understanding, in that desire. The hangman is saying that, as we see things differently, we're going to think, I'm wrong. And Spirit is saying here, stop that right now, because we're going to want to call ourselves out and start to say, well, why aren't you being like everybody else? Maybe because you're not meant to be a sheep. Maybe it's because you're meant to be uniquely and beautifully you. Let yourself shine. Let your passion shine. Let your beauty shine. Let yourself walk a different path. Wear red shoes where everybody else is wearing, black plain shoes. Stand out. Let yourself express yourself exactly the way that you need to. The hangman has you between worlds, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. That could be a really blessed thing. Then we have the King of Wands. This is transformation. This is passion. This is power. This is going to be a time where our passion, our fire starts to transform us. We have to make sure that it doesn't do so in an angry way, because we can really be like, okay, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm not where I want to be. I have to embrace this transformation. Now it has to be exactly the way that I want it, or it's going to be wrong. And Spirit's saying here, step back. Step back, because a warrior king is not the king that makes everything happen the way that he wants it to. It's the king that sees what is going on in front of him and understands where the best man for the job is, understands the best tactics to start using, or when to pull back, when to look at things. Excuse me. And that's going to be what we see here, because this is really embracing the God of War. And this is really embracing the sense that we are pushing forward towards what we desire, what we need, what we want. And we're doing so with passion and insight and this fire towards it. But we have to be wise about it, because it's going to be so easy to let our emotions just take over and not be wise about anything. Be really focused about instant gratification and not what we're building towards, not what is really sacred and beautiful to us. The Four of Swords, we have to look at the trials that we have been through. We do. And we have to honor them. Instead of wanting to hide from them, instead of thinking, oh my gosh, no, you passed this in the past, I don't need to be bothered by this. It's like, no, I need to honor this. For some of us, this is also going to be past life issues that are coming up. And we might think, I don't know why my feet are hurting me, but my feet are hurting me. And then if we do a past life regression, or if we focus on the energy of our feet. We can find an energy block, or we can find that, maybe something traumatic happened to us. But this is going to be a time where we need to pay attention to the energy that isn't the energy that's right in the forefront of our mind when we're awake, but that comes to our subconscious while we are resting, while we are sleeping. And there's a sense here of us being guarded, of us being protected. And there's a part of us, because we see the tree here, which is kind of like a naiad, right? That's in slumber, in hibernation, but it's a woman who's also a tree. And we're going to see ourselves coming to life as we connect with the nature that has been stagnant, that has been dormant within us. It moves us to the Knight of Wands. It moves us here to impulsiveness. Now that's something, because it says that right here, that's something we have to be really mindful again. Moodiness, impulsiveness, anger, that comes from the full moon in Aries opposite Mars and Pluto. So we have to really look at this and say, okay, where's my temper getting the best of me? Where's my just desire for action for the sake of action really coming in? How do I step back from that? The Knight of Wands is us moving forward in action, moving forward, defending what it is that we are passionate about and what it is that we desire. But we can spend a lot of this time in defense mode, in a mode that says, you know what? I have to defend myself. I have to, move myself the right way. I have to get exactly where I want to be, or else somebody else is going to get this. And we have to be really mindful of this energy during this time. It moves us to the King of Pentacles, prosperity, success. This says mentor here. So we can be finding somebody who helps mentor us or who we use as a mentor. It can be that this person doesn't even know we exist, but we are inspired by their work. We're inspired by the way they live their lives. And this is going to be a time for us that we nurture inspiration and we see ourselves move forward in prosperity, in success, in insight, in ideas, in an opening of the door for what we want from life. There's a lot of king energy here. And so this is a time for power, and this is time for the sacred masculine energy to come forward. Now, we are ruled by the sun in a planetary alignment. So the masculine energy is a part of us already. We're going to let that shine, but we need to not let it take over, because if it takes over, again, it's that God of War energy that starts to take over. It's that sense of everything has to revolve around me, that sun energy that's going to come in. And we need to step back from that and say, okay, you know what? That's cool. But we can embrace this instead of being like this battle warrior. We can embrace this as being like a really good hostess, a person who keeps the party going, people engaged. And that's going to be a really great thing for us, or a host, So here with the King of Pentacles, prosperity, success, bounty, and we're starting to accept what wealth is for us. And I understand that we talk about, big houses, fancy cars, designer everything. That's what we think success is supposed to be. But Spirit says here, success is something much more subtle, much more beautiful. And as long as we can, pay the bills, and as long as we can, take care of what needs to be taken care of, we are successful. And that's going to be important. And if we're struggling with this at this time, what we have to do is acknowledge everything that we have been through. We have to acknowledge the struggle that we're in right now and not lose faith within ourselves, and focus on what we love, focus on who we are, focus on why we're here, not on the energy that's trying to drain us and drown us. Let's look at what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. All right, so let's look at our root. We have wisdom. Step out of your comfort zone. And the wisdom here is stepping out of our comfort zone, pushing the envelope. In our inner self, beginnings, new moon energy. The new moon is on the 4th of November, and it is in Scorpio, and we'll be doing a separate reading on that. But the sense of new beginnings and that sense of the transformation, the winter into the summer into the winter, that's a very powerful time here. That's what we're preparing for. We're preparing for the sacrifice, the blood sacrifice that is the hunter's moon, to be ready for the intensity that comes before us. Then we have conclusions are within reach. Beginnings, conclusions are within reach. And it's so funny because it's almost like we had to begin something in order to end something else. We then have hunger, which is the wolf moon. A time to give rather than to take. We hunger for the energy that is given. And we're going to want to kind of gobble it all up for ourselves. But there's a sense here in being able to be full enough, to be connected enough, to be powerful enough. And then there's going to be a sense of I hunger for more. But Spirit's saying, like, we have to learn and to respect, like, having enough. Okay, like getting to a certain point. And I know that's something that's hard for all of us, especially in our modern world, this sense of acquisition. I love the sense of like, oh my gosh, I got that. I was able to get that. Like, that is so cool. And yet then it's like, okay, on to the next thing. It's like, no, not on to the next thing. Let me honor what it is that I have gotten now and not be so driven to get something else. Then we have darkness, which is the long night moon, the eclipse. And then we have the new moon. So this darkness is really coming in the public arena. And it says a new start is coming. So we have this new moon energy that's really coming towards us. And there's a sense of this darkness, which makes sense because on the 19th of November, we have the full moon in Taurus, but that's a lunar eclipse. We're very much building towards this lunar eclipse, towards November's energy, towards the sense of discovery and insight and ideas through the silence, through the contemplation that is given. Our subconscious Luna message is surrender. Nothing will come of this situation. So we have to surrender to the energy that is around us because everything that we plan will seem to kind of fall apart in one way or another. Nothing will come of it. Nothing will really be what we expected. But if we surrender to what the universe has in store for us, if we surrender to the energy of the moon, we're going to see ourselves really moving forward in a very profound way. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is Taurus energy, the high priest. We have to be very mindful of this sense of rigidity, this sense of it has to be this way. This is dogmatic because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is the Pope. So it's religion that is unyielding. And it doesn't mean that it has to be necessarily religion. It can be this aspect of our personality that is unyielding, that we have to really be cognizant of. We have to be aware of where we are being too rigid, or that why we are drawn to people who have this rigidity in them. Our subconscious chakra energy is soul's healing. Now, this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. There's a sense of healing here. There's a sense of power. There's a sense of insight. There's a sense of ideas. There's a sense of healing washing over us and guiding us forward. And that's going to be very calming, and that's going to be very beautiful. Our subconscious rooted message is the Emperor. This is the Aries energy that's coming through so powerfully during this time. We are going to be very drawn to the God of War. We're going to be very drawn to Aries intensity. And this is going to be a time where we need to acknowledge that. We need to claim our throne, claim our power, embrace what it is that we need to embrace and who it is that we are and our greatness, but not let ourselves be seen as almost like the sun rising emperor. It's like the sun rises with me and sets with me type of energy. So just be really mindful of that. The subconscious inner self is the goddess of earth. We're going to see prosperity and success. We're connecting with wealth and abundance of earth and of nature, the sweetness of honey, the filling, beautiful, nutrient rich, fillingness. I don't know if that's a word. It's not. Satisfying, power of milk, the sense of our waters running together into life, into understanding, into being, into self. And we're connecting with more. We're connecting with more than what we think, but it all comes from first our connection with the ground and with the earth. It moves us then into our subconscious emotional self, and that's the Knight of Wands. We have that in the public arena. We're going to be really itching for a fight sometimes during this moon. I mean, just be mindful of that we can be really just like, we have to move forward, we have to move forward, we have to move forward. I have to defend being the king and the transformation, and we can miss the bigger picture. So just be mindful of that because that just comes through really strongly. And then we have our inner self, the 8 of Swords. Resistance, we're going to see that our own worst enemy is our own mind, is our own self talking us out of things. We have to be aware of that. We have to be aware that we're going to make our own cages, and we can sit in those cages forever. And People live their whole lives like that. People live their whole lives in the doubt and in the fear and in the hurt and in the pain that they knew once upon a time, or that the guilt that they take on. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it, because we have to embrace the power and the bounty and the beauty that is us. And it's time. It's time to free ourselves. It really is. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, the prosperity, and the intensity of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo, and may you have a blessed moon.